Hey, John.
Eric.
Evening.
You trying to say something different? How you doing tonight?
I'm trying. I still think there should be some intro music.
Well,
I don't know what.
You can do whatever you want, man. You do whatever you want. Yeah, it's okay. Well, it is first day of school in Oregon.
That's right.
I know other places of the country have already been in school for a long time, but
how was first day of school for your younger boy then?
It was, as he said at least, very loud. He's like, you walk in and they have all the senior leader people in a whole line all yelling, and then they go into the gymnasium where they have really loud music playing. You can't even hear yourself think. I'm like, there you go. There you go. Yeah. So anyway, no, I think it went pretty good. Pretty good. Except, well, my one instruction to him wasn't quite what he tried to follow. Because, you're supposed to have they do a lot of stuff online and they have to create an account. And so I told him, make sure you ask. If they don't just say, this is how you get your account, make sure you ask. And in particular, they have like a homeroom or a advisory. Make sure you ask your advisory teacher, hey, I don't have an account. How am I supposed to get an account? And he did ask, and the advice was, oh, you're going to get that when you go to the library, which they never did all day. And so
okay.
Now he has to show up, half hour early for school tomorrow and go to the library and get his Chromebook and account set up. So, but it's cool. So at least here in Oregon, they do essentially for high school, at least. And I don't know if it's at all high schools in Oregon, but at this school, the first day is a freshman only day. So for the new freshmen that are coming in, they get a day to themselves where, it's basically a welcome to the building. This is where everything is. These are the paths between your classes, and do this with, only, what is it, 400 or 500 people in the building instead of 2,000.
Right.
Where, with all 4 classes, the halls are very full, and I think a 9th grader first day of school is going to be like, eyes glazed and a little bit deer in headlights kind of, oh my gosh, what am I supposed to do? So it's good, I think. He did say that only one person in his group of 8 even came up to his shoulder.
Okay.
He's like, I don't think most of the people that I saw have maybe hit their growth spurt yet. I'm like, don't worry. Tomorrow, when the school is full of seniors and juniors, you won't be the tallest person in the hallway.
But the advantage is they won't know for sure that you're a freshman, a first year.
Right. Right.
So.
Yeah. So it's good.
Did you do anything fun for the long weekend, the Labor Day weekend?
What did I do? So I did a couple things. Actually, I didn't have a chance to listen to last week's episode, so I don't know if you left it in, but I was talking about the taillight.
Yes, the taillight is left in.
It took literally 5 minutes. It took longer for me to walk to the shop and get a screwdriver than it took to replace the taillight. So after 2 years, it took approximately $37 on Amazon and 5 minutes. And it was replaced. So that was done. I felt very sheepish, so to speak, to quote Robin Williams. So that was that. And then I spent pretty much all day Saturday trying to fix a plumbing issue, which was literally probably 2 hours of work and 4 hours of car and Lowe's time. But, it's coming on to winter. It's going to start raining again. I had a plumbing leak, and so I've been putting it off for months because it hasn't been that bad. It's not that big of a problem. But my wife was like, it's going to come on to winter, and it's going to really try and suck to fix a leak in the winter.
Right.
When it's raining and the whole ground's all saturated and you can't tell like what's wet because it's a leak and what's wet because it's like Oregon in November. And
right.
So that's one of those things that I'm super glad that I have it done, and it really was not a fun Saturday. And I had a few choice words a couple of times, but I did have one moment where I'm in Lowe's trying to figure out, because I got it dug up and the hole's just filled with water. And I'm like, I need something to pump the water out. What am I supposed to use to pump the water out? So I go, one of my trips was I'm looking at Lowe's for pumps, and the lady in the garden center is like, well, can you just use your shop vac? Do you have a shop vac? And I'm like, yes, I do. And you are brilliant. And why didn't I think of that? So that wound up being what I used, which I had to dump like 10 times because it filled up with water super fast, but it worked perfectly.
Right.
Anyway, so that was one thing. And then the other thing we did was, I've talked about the yurt on the podcast. So,
yep.
We got the yurt all put up a couple weeks ago, and we want some bunks out in the yurt. And my sons had bunk beds growing up. And in fact, my younger boy is still sleeping in the bunk bed that he slept in when he was 4, even though he is 14 and 6'1" now, and complains, I can't actually sit up in the bed because it's too low. And so we decided that would be a perfect thing to do, to take it down, take it out to the yurt, because it's got a trundle underneath. So basically that's 3 beds right there is
right.
Top bunk, bottom bunk, and trundle. There you go. And then we figure we'll get a futon or something like that, and that'll be, basically 4 beds in a yurt.
Nice.
And so the 2 things about that were, one, the bottom of the bed, the trundle part, was just filled with Legos. That had been the Lego dumping ground their entire childhood. And so actually, while I was working on the plumbing problem, my wife and my son were going through the Legos and packing them all up. And, so that was a little bit bittersweet because, it's like all of these Legos that we built, or I built with them. And they're going in a box in the basement. And then Saturday, sorry, that was Saturday, Sunday. Monday was the actual holiday. We drove out and back. So it was pretty much just a 3-hour drive there, 3-hour drive back. Although we took a scenic route just to get the bunk bed out and, get it installed, or not installed, put back together. Anyway, it was fun. It was that was actually a really good day. Just kind of chilling with the fam, so to speak.
Nice.
How about you? Did you do anything fun this weekend?
So we, since it's just 3 of us now, since the 2 oldest are now off to college and a journey of self-discovery. It was me, my wife, and my boy went to a Hoyt Arboretum near the zoo. That whole Forest Park Zoo, that whole area there is 12 miles of trails and all set up.
Is that where the witch's house is?
I don't know. If it's there, we didn't see it.
Pretty sure, but I'll have to look it up. Okay.
Yeah. So
sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway, Hoyt Arboretum.
So yeah, and it's got little cool signs on all these trees, and you hike for however long you want to hike. You can do short trails, long trails, And then on the sides of trees, it shows you this is what the tree is. And we had a map, and it was just kind of a fun Saturday, just roaming around, hiking it was a little warm, but not too bad. And you're all in the trees.
That's kind of that little valley there is really, kind of sheltered
on the other side behind the zoo. So we had a great time hiking around Hoyt Arboretum. And then on Monday, I pulled out my big fancy barbecue again, and we tried a bunch of different things again. So we tried steak and chicken, and for the first time I tried ribs, and I learned some things that I need to do with ribs.
Beef ribs or pork ribs?
Pork ribs. So short ribs.
Okay.
And I did not wrap them in tinfoil.
Oh.
I thought I would try, barbecuing them like barbecuing, and that doesn't work.
No, not particularly.
So they were crispy on one side and less crispy on the other side. But I mean, they were still good. But yeah, they were a little.
If you're interested, I'm sure I could get you our rib recipe, but it's a little bit ironic. But they actually get cooked in the oven in foil, and then they come out and get finished on the grill, and they are delicious. They're delicious.
Yeah. So I just tried these just right on the grill.
And I'm sure you could just wrap them in foil and do them on the grill.
Put them on the grill,
heat.
yeah.
But, because at that point, it's just like, what's the temperature going to be for how long while they're in foil?
Correct.
And then take them out and get the sauce on them. But
yeah. And then I have a cast iron pan. It's not a very big one, but so it fits right on the grill. And I put my vegetables in the cast iron pan. I chopped up some Brussels sprouts and onions and mushrooms and bacon. And that is now my new favorite vegetable medley. That was so good. With a little bit of the smoky flavor on the grill next to the steak and chicken and ribs. So I had a very tasty Monday.
Super, super yum.
Another thing we did over the weekend. So Monday we did the barbecue. Yeah. Saturday evening, or maybe it was Sunday. So I've mentioned before Impossible Burgers and Impossible Meat, the plant-based stuff. Well, I bought a pound of it in the grocery store. So I just happened to be in the grocery store, and you could buy a little brick. And I thought, hey, let's see how this does as taco meat.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really good. It fried up just like, you threw the... I'll get you some pictures. I mean, obviously this isn't going to help for the podcast, but I, just put it in a pan, fried it up, chopped it up, turned it into taco meat.
Uh-huh.
It looked just like taco meat. I didn't tell the other family members of what exactly it was. I was cooking dinner, and they all ate it, and it was yummy tacos. So
that's awesome.
That was fresh, and so I got another one to freeze, because there's a different process you have to go through if you freeze it. So you have to let it completely thaw out. You can't microwave it to accelerate the thaw process. It has to naturally thaw.
Okay.
So I have another one, and I'm going to try doing burgers, just hand-formed burgers.
The Impossible
next.
Burgers.
Yes, the hand-formed Impossible Burgers, see how that goes. But it was quite tasty. So 2 thumbs up for me for at least taco meat was super tasty.
For meatless taco meat.
For meatless, yeah. So it was, meatless taco meat.
Meatless tacos. That I still have yet to try an Impossible Burger, but I'm sure I will someday.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
All right. I didn't even look and see if we had follow up. What did you bring for topics today?
All right, so I got 2 topics. One is an iOS jailbreak detection bypass tool, which I just thought was kind of cool. So
I haven't read
jailbreak
this.
detection. There's a number of apps that do jailbreak detection. And there's a reason why you might want to do jailbreak detection, because what jailbreaking does is it allows you to do things on your iPhone that are generally prohibited. You can do potentially bad things. So if you're a security researcher, though, you want to jailbreak phones to do analysis of things. And app developers can implement jailbreak detection. Some of the reasons why an app developer might want to, inside their app, check to see if your phone is a jailbroken device is if it's a banking app, right? You want to protect any potential stuff in the banking app, or some type of sensitive data that might be elsewhere. Or another big one is preventing you from cheating in games, right? So if your device is jailbroken, you might be able to cheat in games, especially ones that have like the multiplayer or allow you to do in-game purchases of things. So there are reasons for it. But this was a tool now that will allow you can install this tool on a jailbroken device that will then hide the fact that the device is jailbroken from an app who's trying to look it up to see if it's, to not run if it's jailbroken. Does that make sense? Did I say that correctly?
Yeah, I guess I'm not intimately familiar with the jailbreak techniques that it must be obscuring.
Right. Yeah. So like some of the things, it'll look for certain folders. It'll look for certain libraries that get installed. It'll look in the file system for things that it has access to.
So this is like a rootkit that, intercepts calls and says, oh, there's no file not found, but file not found for a single application, not because the file doesn't actually exist.
Yeah. So it's actually a security research group that created this, because in a lot of their research, they have jailbroken phones to do analysis of things, and then sometimes apps they're looking at and trying to test won't run. So, or alert the user, but then limit some of the features that they're trying to test. Whatever the app developer who is implementing jailbreak detection, what they want it for. So mostly this was just an interesting, if you're curious about jailbroken phones and how breaking works and why, or how to get around someone detecting you of being jailbroken.
Yeah.
Here's a
in general, don't jailbreak your devices.
No. You should have you should know what you're doing.
Yeah.
This is the PhD level course of iPhone usage. But anyways, I just thought it was interesting. And then the second one is The Gift That Keeps on Giving, Meltdown Inspector. And I think you saw this one.
I saw the Twitter stuff. I didn't read the actual detailed article.
Okay. Yeah. So this is Spoook.js, right? This is the Spectre Meltdown being able to do side channel attacks. And one of the, CPU vendors have said, hey, in our future chips, we're going to fix this. We're going to solve the problem. Google actually went ahead and put in a site isolation feature to block, site A from using the Spectre Meltdown attack to discover information on site B. Like domain1.com can't see stuff on domain2.com. So they added that to how Chrome functions. But what it doesn't do is subdomains. So it'll only check to make sure that anything is running from, example.com. So if it's attacker.example.com, could still get details out of login.example.com, which I think on the surface kind of says, oh, well, that makes sense. If you own the domain, then you can't do that. The problem is there's a lot of websites that allow users to create whole subdomains that really aren't attached together. Sites, sure. GitHub, any social media sites that allow you to, tack
Tumblr.
on a long subdomain. Yeah, Tumblr. Yeah. Any of those type of sites can allow an attacker. And so this is some JavaScript code which has been developed, which actually, and the article's pretty long, shows how you can go about getting passwords from Tumblr or GitHub or Bitbucket or any of these other websites that allow users to run arbitrary JavaScript and create their own subdomains and host their own subdomains under the parent site.
Wow.
So, and Google knows about this, but the subdomain issue, but they also say there's not a whole lot they can do about it, because if they were to try to fix this, it would cripple over 13% of all internet websites. Because, a lot of people have websites like where they use the subdomains to put off, that's where my source code or my code, the JavaScript lives over here in js.example.com, and the images live in image.example.com and things like that. So doing this kind of thing. So lots of fun details in that one, and not
I like
a
this
lot of solutions.
Spoook.js as a reference to Spectre.
Yeah. And of course, it's got a website and a logo.
It does have a website and a logo. I did see that.
Good times. And so it does walk through, even password managers and being able to pull content from password managers. So there are solutions for it, but website developers need to implement them. It can't be done by Google fixing something, for example. So that's article number 2 for me.
That is a good one.
And the exciting thing is it works on Apple M1 processors too. So not just Intel and AMD.
Yeah. Well, side channel is not it's a logic error, not a vulnerability, so to speak.
Yeah.
Which I'm bringing that from something that we'll talk about in a minute.
There you go.
Okay, so I have 2 articles as well. The first one is sort of the news of the day today, at least as we record this on September 8th, is a Microsoft vulnerability in Office applications that can embed web pages. Basically, so there's the Microsoft yesterday or last night announced the CVE. This is 2021-40444 with a CVSS score of 8.8. But essentially, you can even if you don't use Internet Explorer as your browser on your Windows box, you use Chrome or you use Edge or something else, there's still the IE engine that's embedded in MSHTML or is enabled through MSHTML that is what Office uses to render web content inside, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, etc. And in general, this is not exploitable in default configuration, because in the default configuration, you should the Office won't run unsafe content. The documents, especially documents downloaded from the web, will be opened in protected view or application guard for Office. But, if you have disabled that, or, if you click the enable content button, you can be exploited. So, interestingly, though, this is being exploited in the wild today, although the identity, it says, quote, the Windows Maker the Windows Maker. I don't know why they just said Microsoft. Microsoft credited researchers from Expmon and Mandiant for reporting the flaw, although the company did not disclose additional specifics about the nature of the attacks, the identity of the adversaries exploiting this 0-day, or their targets in light of real-world attacks. But Expmon said that it found the vulnerability after detecting a, quote, highly sophisticated 0-day attack aimed at Microsoft Office users. And, again, quote, the exploit uses logical flaws, so the exploitation is perfectly reliable and dangerous. AKA, it's a feature, not a vulnerability. The fact that you can embed an ActiveX control that will be run by MSHTML and executed is, it was designed that way.
Mm-hmm.
So that is, I suspect there's still a shoe or two to drop for this thing. It's pretty much been coming out over the last 24 hours. And there's another quote from Microsoft. Well, it's hard to tell if this is a quote. Because parts of this paragraph are quoted, but it says Microsoft is expected to either release a security update as part of its Patch Tuesday monthly release cycle, or an out-of-band patch depending on customer needs. So TBD yet. Since it is not exploitable in the default configuration, to the best of, what we're reading, at least, what I'm reading.
Right.
I can't see Microsoft releasing an out-of-band patch, but it also seems like it's catching a lot of press. And so, they might do it just to kind of catch the press, but it is at 8.8, which is not low.
Yeah, no.
So
that's on the high side.
Yeah. They encourage users and organizations to disable all ActiveX controls to mitigate any potential attack. So,
is ActiveX still a thing? I mean, obviously it is, but I thought ActiveX had gone.
It is
bye-bye.
Not supported in their Chromium-based Edge browser, but it is still supported in the MSHTML, which is based on the IE engine.
Got it.
So yeah, you may not even. There was at least a tweet that I saw, although it didn't say it in this particular article. The article I'll link here is on where is it? Hacker News. I saw a tweet today that somebody had exploited it on Windows 11. So, because MSHTML is still available, even though they don't release IE for Windows 11. So, which today is the 8th. Hypothetically, Windows 11 comes out in what would that be? 27 days. October 5th.
Okay.
That's the rumor. Actually, it's not a rumor because that's what Satya said.
that's what's been published.
It's not really a rumor if it's published, is it? Anyway, funny. Okay, my second article was I'm not sure that this was a. I think they're calling this another 0-day, a Zoho server 0-day. Okay. So this is the record article, but the CISA today urged organizations to apply the latest security update to their Zoho Manage Engine servers to patch a 0-day vulnerability that is currently being actively exploited in the wild for more than a week. So this is CVE 2021-4055539. So this one, let's see. Zoho Manage Engine is this says it's a password management and single sign-on solution from Indian company Zoho. And that in the patch was released earlier today. And in the advisory, Zoho described the 0-day as an authentication bypass that can be exploited. It says via the AD self-service plus REST APIs.
Okay.
So I assume that sounds like Active Directory, but I actually don't know their API at all. But it says that the authentication bypass could allow an attacker to execute malicious code on the underlying Zoho server. I did pull out a couple other points out of this. The first of which is that while the while it was disclosed and patched today, it says, according to Matt Dahl, a principal intelligence analyst at security firm CrowdStrike, says that the Zoho 0-day has been under attack for more than a week, and that since no public exploit code or technical reports discussing the vulnerability are currently available, that suggests the threat actors discovered the bug on their own. Oh, there was another comment. I didn't actually pull it out, but that it appears that this is under exploit by a single actor at the moment.
Okay.
But then this was the, oh crap. It says, at the time of writing, there are more than 11,000 Zoho managed engine servers accessible over the internet. So, since this is a cloud service that has to be patched, this is the sort of thing that running that patch through, 11,000 servers, even if the first 50% get patched in the first X days,
right.
That's very much a asymptote, and that there will be vulnerable servers running for a considerable period of time. So
yes,
that's, dun, 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 sad trombone.
Sad trombone. Yeah.
So, it also says that this is the second major Zoho managed engine 0-day, and that the first 2020 10.189 was one of the most commonly exploited vulnerabilities of 2020 used to plant web shells on servers. I don't remember if we talked about this last year or not. It might have been not a service that we think of very much, or I've never used it. So,
right.
But anyway, that's my second one. I don't know if anybody listening to this uses Zoho, but if so, patch. And there you go.
Wise words.
There you go. All right. How about something fun tonight? What'd you bring me?
So my fun is about the Perseverance, the Mars rover.
I read this.
It has landed, and it is now successfully drilled, extracted, and stored a sample of Martian rock, which will be flown back to Earth for study. And you may ask, when? When do I get to see actual Martian rock on Earth? Not for a while. It's being stored, hermetically sealed in Perseverance belly, waiting until at some point in the future, a spacecraft will come and retrieve it and return it to Earth, which apparently is going to be at least 2031. So 10-ish years is the current
Elon Musk has to walk over to the Perseverance rover and
pick it up himself,
crack open the belly, and say, "Give me all your samples."
Yeah, that'll be exciting to actually have Martian rock to do some analysis on, and they can, use the decay of the radioactive elements to put some dates and times to its formation and do some other, I think, probably very cool science. So if we're on episode 1000 whatever in 2031, we'll have to talk about it.
10 more years? Yeah, I don't know. That'll be exciting.
We're already in almost 4 years. So
that's silly. I don't know who did that. Fake news. Fake news. I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's been that long, but well, yeah, I saw that, and that is super exciting. I'm like, how like on the Mars mission objectives, your objective is to go land within X amount of distance of this wherever the Perseverance dies.
Right.
Extract it, bring it back to the ship, which must be capable of, getting back to orbit.
Right.
And then getting back to Earth.
Mm-hmm. 2031.
No way. That's awesome.
That's going to be a lot of fun.
That's awesome. I will enjoy watching and reading about that.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So my something fun isn't like super fun, I guess, but I got an email today from the Washington State Department of Agriculture about Asian Giant Hornets. Sorry, all I could think of was murder hornets.
Yeah, no. the wrong phrase,
which is the wrong thing to call them.
Right.
But so I've been on the mailing list since last year when one of the gals came and did a talk at the bee group that I'm a part of.
Right.
And so this is a news article that has they found the first nest of 2021 and eradicated it and asked the public to continue reporting. So I had heard, and I forget if we said on the podcast, sorry, I read an article a couple weeks ago that they had found some hornets, some hornets had been spotted. They were trapped and they had, affixed trackers to them, but they had been unable to actually track them back to the nest. So, in fact, not this article, but another article said that they tracked the tracker down, but it no longer was attached to an Asian Giant Hornet on one of them. And then on one of the others, they had given a receiver to the Canadian, whatever the Department of Agriculture is in Canada, because it was kind of on the border.
Okay.
In fact, this particular site, so this says the nest was located at the base of a dead alder tree in rural Whatcom County, east of Blaine, about 2 miles from the nest that was eradicated last October, and about a quarter mile from where a resident reported a live sighting on August 11th. Site was also about a quarter mile from the Canadian border. But so for this, they vacuumed 113 worker hornets from the nest. And once they started removing the bark and the wood, they had, it says 9 layers of comb. And the portion of the tree with the nest was cut out and transported to Washington State University in Bellingham for analysis. And that in addition to the hornets vacuumed from the tree, the staff caught 67 additional hornets in the area with nets. So I'm just picturing them running around like, you get a hornet and you get a hornet, like, with the nets. And then the nest itself had nearly 1,500 hornets in various stages of development. But like, I don't remember from last year, if you're looking at this, like the picture of the bee suits that these people are wearing, like these are not just, like the bee suit that I wear.
Right.
These are like space suits.
Right.
So, anyway, so the other cool thing about this is that they were partnering, might have been a different article, but they were partnering with the Oregon State Department of Agriculture. And, so they had people from, the pest control from Oregon up there as well, helping out. And, so they're they're still asking people if they have sightings to, let them know. Actually, it was funny. In the email that they sent, they have a a sign that says "Track, don't whack," like because they don't want they don't want you to kill the hornets. They want you to watch them and see what direction they fly. Because it's more valuable. Like killing a worker doesn't really do anything for, preventing spread of the hornets. But being able to tell the, the Department of Agriculture, well, they flew east from here.
They flew east down Highway 217.
Right.
Took a left at I-5.
Anyway, I just thought that was funny. Track, don't whack. I thought, and anyway, so,
I'm surprised your Something Fun wasn't the new movie.
You tweeted that. I don't
deeply steeped in the mythology of beekeeping. I would like you to explain the mythology of beekeeping to me at some point.
So I was going to do Something Fun at some point, but I decided that it wouldn't be fun for like anybody else. But I finished reading a book called Buzz a week or two ago, but it was really cool because it was by somebody who's an entomologist kind of by training, or at least interest. But it wasn't really about beekeeping, but it had a lot of info about sort of the history of beekeeping and, so the Egyptians used to carry hives up and down the Nile. And, I don't know, there was a bunch of cool things in there historically. And what was one of the other things? One of the other things was in Africa. So this is totally unproven, maybe not even provable, but one of the things that you need to support a large brain size is calories.
Okay.
And there's some evidence. They were interviewing one of the people he interviewed was a anthropologist, I think out of Las Vegas. But that, there's correlation, we can't tell causation, of African humans in Africa learning how to control fire. What do you do with fire? One of the first things you can do with fire is you can harvest honey like you would not believe, which is a massive calorie source, nutrition-wise, and reliable, and is used by was used by tribes and is still like a major source of calories. Can be a major source of calories. Anyway, it was a cool book. It was a totally cool book. But this particular anthropologist is like, there's a great argument to be made that the reason humans exist as they are is because of bees.
Okay, well, I may just wait for the movie.
I don't think Jason Statham is gonna like be about.
Come on,
I don't know.
The Beekeeper is a lightning-paced thriller deeply steeped in the mythology of beekeeping. Who wouldn't want to see that movie?
I will totally go and see that movie. I absolutely will. 100%. I will suspend my disbelief. Anyway, that is funny though. That is funny. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
All righty, dude.
All right. Well, let's call it a show.
Yeah,
that's fun. It was good talk. Good fun.
It's always fun. It's mostly security, but always fun.
That's true. That's awesome. All right. Well, have a good week. I will talk to you later.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.